Catus Maximus here. This is going to be a shaky handheld camera video because I got to pull these discs in out of the computer and do some close-ups. Anyway, making a video to dispel myths about optical disc capacities. I just got finished watching like some huge YouTubers video about disc capacity, and I've actually just run into probably dozens of videos of, I mean, we're talking YouTubers with millions of subscribers, and it seems that they are always quoting the minimum possible capacity of a DVD or a Blu-ray, a standard Blu-ray, or a 4K Blu-ray, because whatever they're talking about, it seems to be make it more sensationalized. And I was not able to find one video that actually talks about the true potential capacity of these various formats. Up to 100 gigabytes per side on a 4K Ultra HD. I'm not aware of any double-sided 4K discs. That's a triple layer 4K disc can be up to 100 gigabytes. Doesn't mean that they are using it, but if they have 67 or 68 gigabytes of data to write, then it will be a triple layer disc. Quick note, there's a theory that all Disney 4K discs are double layer because there's been too much trouble with drives reading triple layer discs. Anyway, Blu-rays can be double layer. 25 gigabytes per layer, up to 50 gigabytes or even more. And I have examples. These X files are 50 gigabytes, 50 megabytes. They're the fullest Blu-rays I've ever seen. Blu-rays can be double-sided, like this Bourne Ultimatum, which is actually a double-layer Blu-ray, and on the other side, let me get this open. This disc is a double-layer DVD on one side and a double-layer Blu-ray on the other side. And this disc, total amount of data on this physical disc, two sides, is 52 gigs of data or something on this single disc, Blu-ray type disc. Oh, the colors really show up on the camera. And that's why I have this Mad Max here, because it actually has a double-sided DVD. I've only ever seen, and this double-sided DVD has a double layer on one side and a single layer on the other. Although I have once seen, it was a particular edition of Terminator 2, which they didn't make for very long because it just had too many problems with drives reading it. But you can actually have 4 layers on a DVD, 2 on each side, allowing you to have a DVD that technically can have more than 18 gigabytes, almost the same amount of data. So anyway, I'll show you about how much capacities these really have. I don't have a 4K drive in my computer. Those things are like really expensive. But I did want to show you how you can tell, like on a 4K disc. Let me zoom in a whole bunch here. It's usually easier in the light to see these little serial numbers. There's one serial number there. You can see the second one, and there's the third one. That's the easiest indicator, but you can also see the coding. See that barcode? It's right in the middle. Then we have a second barcode over there, and if we look down here, we have an inner barcode. Along with those 3 serial numbers, we know that this is at least, it's more than 66 gigabytes. The way 4K Ultra HD Blu-rays work is that they are always 2 layers, and some can be 3 layers. The 2-layer ones, they can be the same capacity, maximum capacity as a normal Blu-ray. They can have 2 25 gigabyte layers for a maximum capacity of 50 gigabytes. They can have 2 33 gigabyte layers for 66 gigabytes. And they can have 3 33 gigabyte layers for 100 gigabytes. As far as I know, there's no such thing as a 75 gig 3-layer 4K Blu-ray. If they're going to go 3 layers, they're going to be the higher density 33 gigabyte layers. There is no such thing as 3 25 gigabyte layers, and that's how it works with 4K Ultra HDs. Once again, I have not run into a single layer one, although I'm sure technically there's nothing preventing them from making a single layer 33 gigabyte 4K disc. But I have about 140 4K Blu-rays, and every one of them's double layer or triple layer. On this copy of Bourne Ultimatum, this is a combination, rarely done with Blu-ray. It's more common with HD DVD, but this is Blu-ray and DVD on one disc. And we have Blu-ray and DVD. Both sides are double layers, so this disc has 4 layers of metal in it. We'll put in the Blu-ray side first here. Here we are, Born Ultimatum, and if we get, there we go. If we get properties, we can see that there's 43.7 gigs of data on this Blu-ray. And not all Blu-rays are created the same. I have done a video about that earlier, where you'll get reprints and the file sizes will be different. You just go into BDMV and then stream. And like on this, we can see the actual movie is 32.7 gigabytes by itself. The rest of it's previews and languages and special features. Now we'll go ahead and flip this over to the DVD side. What's really cheesy about it is the specification calls for the hard coding to only be on the Blu-ray side. So even on these double-sided discs, which is Blu-ray on one side, the hard coding's only on the Blu-ray side. The DVD side is still as easily scratched as any other DVD. We can see our label. Now it's DVD. And we get properties. And it's another almost 8.2 gigabytes on this quad layer disc. Just goes to show you. So this is technically a Blu-ray disc that has a couple gigabytes more than 50 gigabytes on it, just because they have a double layer DVD glued to the backside of a double layer Blu-ray. Now nothing mechanically prevents them from actually having a quad layer Blu-ray disc, 2 layers on this side, 2 layers on this side, giving you 100 gigabytes. They could have had 4K Ultra HD discs on double-sided Blu-rays, and they probably evaluated that and just said people are not going to want to, people already hate double-sided discs because there's no, I mean, you can only hold them by the edge. You're always smudging them. They're really easily damaged because you have data on both sides. So double-sided discs just have never been very common. And when they came out with the 4K standard, they just said, we got to come out with a way of making higher density discs because we're not going to have double-sided Blu-rays. People are just going to have too many problems, and they're going to not want to have to flip the disc over like an old laser disc in the middle of their movie. Plus, they're really expensive because it's hard to manufacture a disc with 4 layers in it and have them all come out perfectly and readable. And I'm sure there's a few other movies that are like this, but I've put a lot of movies in. I mean, I don't rip them, but I've done comparisons of reprints, and I've never seen a Blu-ray that has ever been as high capacity as the X-Files, both The Fight the Future and its sequel, I Want to Believe. We'll put this in here. Here we are, and if we get properties on this X-Files, look at that, 50 gigabytes, 50 megabytes. It's technically over 50. I've never seen any other Blu-ray that it was, I mean, I think this is like at the theoretical maximum physical capacity of the Blu-ray specifications. Oh, my camera's freaking out here. That's a little weird. But never seen any other Blu-ray that was technically 50 megabytes over 50 gigs. Just to show you how much space a double layer Blu-ray really does have. Any X-Files fans, if you're wondering what that is, they had this double disc PC CD-ROM kind of database thing, which is pretty rare, pretty hard to find for the X-Files. And last but not least, to dispel the myth that DVDs are 4.7 gigabytes. Usually you get this golden color on double layer DVDs, but not always. As we just saw in that Born Ultimatum, it was a silver colored. It was this silver colored, but it was 2 layers. But many times when you see the golden bronze color, you know it's a double layer. So this is a DVD. And what we have here is this is the Mad Max. We have the movie in widescreen and standard. That's why there's 2 layers, 1 layer for each of the movies. And then on the other side is the special features. Here we are. It says total size. And if we do zoom in, see 8.4 gigabytes just on this side. So anyway, 8.4 here. And we'll go ahead and flip this one over. It's real special when you get these halfway into the drive and then close the drawer, because then you have the pleasure of scratching both sides of the disc. And on this particular disc, it says Mad Max 2 when you flip it over. And we can see another 2.96, so as we can see, far more than 4.7 or even 9.4. This triple layer DVD is 11.2 1.36 gigabytes. And like I said, I've only ever seen one double-sided, double layer on each side DVD, and that was a particular release of Terminator 2, not a release, but a particular time frame of like the Terminator 2 Skynet edition or something, but they just had so many issues that the highest ones I've seen are like this, where it's 2 layers on one side and 1 layer on the other. And that Bourne Ultimatum, this thing here is particularly special because it's a quad layer disc, 2 layers for the DVD, 2 layers for the Blu-ray. So anyway, long video, sorry for the shaky camera work. But now people know about the true capacity of the disc, you know, and you see all these, I mean, I've just been frustrated by it. All these YouTubers claiming the minimum potential capacity. It's like comparing USB keys and using a 16 megabyte, like very world's first USB 1.0 USB key. Or comparing horsepower of cars, saying cars have, you know, 16 horsepower like the Ford Model T or whatever horsepower it had. It's like, come on, let's be accurate, you know. Blu-rays can be over 50 gigs, as we saw here. Ultra HDs can be 100 gigs. You know, DVDs potentially can be almost 19 gigs, 18.8 gigs. And even a Blu-ray in the right kind of, if they ever made one, could be 100 gigs itself, as we saw here, which has 2 layers of DVD and 2 layers of Blu-ray, which is technically a Blu-ray disc, which has more than 50 gigs of capacity. So anyway, just wanted to make this video, and if anybody's ever run into a double-sided Blu-ray where it's Blu-ray on both sides, let me know. Also, let me know if you run into any titles that are quad-layer DVDs, where it's double layers on each of the double sides, 2 sides. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you next time. Quick last-minute addition before I forget. I realized I didn't, but I was talking about this 100 gig or upwards of 100 gig. Who knows? There's probably 80 gigs on this triple layer Ultra HD Blu-ray. Is the fact that I believe mechanically and technically that there is no there is no reason why they couldn't do a double-sided triple layers on each side 4K discs for a total of 200 gigabytes. And also the fact that in reading, the original Blu-ray standard actually would have allowed original Blu-rays to go up to 10 layers, but apparently there was just too much difficulty in actually getting reliable, cost-effective manufacturing of many layers like that, as well as cost-effective transports or players to deal with it.